Padma Purana Uttara Khanda 118-2-15. A man should marry his daughter as long as she has not attained puberty. Wise men recommend a girl's age when she is 8 years old. Vishnu Purana 3:10-16. If he marries, he must select a maiden who is a third of his age. Brahma Fafarta Purana Krishna Janma Khanda 764352. Whoever, having decorated his virgin daughter, aged 8 years, with apparel, referentially makes a gift of her to a Brahmin, reaps the benefits of the gift of goddess Durga. Mahabharat Anus Hassan Parva 4414. A 30-year-old man should marry a 10-year-old girl who hasn't reached puberty yet, and a person of 20 years old should marry a 7-year-old girl. Manusmriti 994. A man 30 years old shall marry a girl 12 years old, or one 24 years old, a damsel 8 years old. In the event of his duty suffering, he may do it sooner. Parasar Smriti 7:5-6. When the 12th year is reached by the female child, if the guardian does not give her away in marriage, her forefathers drink without interruption during each succeeding months whatever blood is passed in her courses. The mother, the father, and likewise the eldest brother, all these 3 relatives, will go to hell if before menstruation they neglect to marry the girl.
Gautam Dharam Sutra 182123. A girl should be given in marriage before puberty. He who neglects it commits sin. Some declare that a girl shall be given in marriage before she wears clothes. Vashista Dharam Shastra 1770. Out of fear of the appearance of menstruation, let the father marry his daughter off while she hasn't reached puberty yet, for if she stays in the house after the age of puberty, sin falls on the father.
Now let's move on to their gods. The bow of Isfara that was kept in the abode of Janaka was broken. In his 15th year, O king, Rama married the 6-year-old beautiful daughter of the king of Mithila, Sita, who was not born of a womb. On getting Sita, Raghava became contented and happy. In the footnote it says, the custom of child marriage at the time of this Purana writer is reflected here. Krishna abducts 8-year-old Rukmini and marries her. As time passed on, she became a girl of 8 years. My daughter has come to the age of 8 years. Go ahead, O Krishna, O Mighty One, let the jewel of a girl be seized quickly. On getting the consent of Sankarshana, Kesava, also known as Krishna, the slayer of Kesin, seized the girl and immediately put her on the chariot and went off. Rukmini was of pre-pubescent age when Krishna abducted and married her. The princess, who was possessed of a shapely slender waist and had not yet attained puberty. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam by J.M. Sanyal. Rukmini was of exquisite beauty though she had not yet attained puberty. This is in the concise Srimad Bhagavatam by Swami Venkata Sanananda. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada comments on Srimad Bhagavatam 42542. He says, as soon as a woman attains the age of puberty, she immediately becomes very much agitated by sexual desire. It is therefore the duty of the father to get his daughter married before she attains puberty. My daughter has come to unmarriageable age. I have no money. Her age has exceeded 10 years. The marriageable age limit has been exceeded. Alas, what am I to do? This is in the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, 3rd book, chapter 27 by Swami Vivekananda. From here on, it will be more shocking. Child Marriage under Hindu Personal Law by Dr. Van Dana. During the British period, the British customs and thoughts inspired the reformist movement against child marriage. It was in fact the first law commissioners who drafted the Penal Code in 1846, who had first conceived the idea of making sexual intercourse between the husband and the wife below 10 years an offense. After the notorious case of Queen versus Hari Mohan Maithy, in which an 11-year-old girl died to the injuries received by the sexual intercourse with her 35-year-old husband. The movement against child marriage picked up due to its velocity. In 1891, the age of consent to sexual intercourse was raised from 10 years to 12 years by the criminal law to ensure that the female children are protected from immature cohabitation. Towards the end of the last century, public attention was increasingly directed towards the improvement of the physique of nation and the reduction of causes for abnormal mortality. As a consequence thereof, in 1929, the criminal law further raised the age of consent from 12 to 13 years in case of married girls. So let's go back to the Queen versus Hari Mohan Maithy, in which an 11-year-old girl died. by her husband, who was 35 years old. The Dhaka Prakash on June 1875 reported that an elderly man had beaten his child wife to death when she refused to go to bed with him. Neighbors had tried to cover it up as a suicide, but the murder charge was eventually proved. The jury let off the husband with a light sentence. The Education Gazette of May 1873 had reported a similar incident when the mature husband of a girl of 11 dragged her out by the hair and beat her till he killed her, for similar reasons. He was let off with a light sentence as well. In 1890, Fulmone, a girl of about 10 or 11, was raped to death by her husband Hari Mata, a man of 35, under existing penal code provisions. However, he was not guilty of rape, since Fulmone had been well within the statutory age limit of 10. The reformist press began to systematically collect and publish accounts of similar incidents from all over the country. 44 women doctors brought out long lists of cases where child wives had been maimed or killed because of rape. There was unanimous medical opinion that Hari had caused the death of a girl whose body was still immature and could not sustain penetration. She died after 13 hours of acute pain and continuous bleeding. Fulmone was by no means an isolated case. Dr. Chever's investigations of 1856 mentioned at least 14 cases of premenstrual cohabitation that had come to his notice, and the subsequent finding incorporated in Dr. MacLeod's report on child marriage amply corroborated his data. Now, some Hindus might say, well, child marriage were introduced in India by the Muslims, but this claim is refuted by their own scholar, Swami Vivekananda, who acknowledged that Hinduism permits pedophilia. So he says, a girl of 8 is married to a man of 30, and the parents are jubilant over it, and if anyone protests against it, the plea is put forward. Our religion is being overturned. What sort of religion have they who want to see their girls becoming mothers before they attain puberty, even and offer scientific explanations for it? Many, again, lay the blame at the door of the Mohammedans. They are to blame, indeed. Just read the Griha Sutras through and see what is given as the marriageable age of a girl. There it is expressly stated that a girl must be married before attaining puberty. The entire Griha Sutras enjoy this. All the Brahmanas mention them, and all the commentators admit them to be true. How can you deny them? This is in the complete works of Swami Vivekananda, Volume 6, The Epistles, 2nd series. Till this day, child marriages still occur in India, and it even increased during the corona pandemic.